All right, in today's video, we're talking about how to position a high-ticket coaching offer. And by the way, you guys, I want you to pay close attention to this video today because I'm going to give you a really simple method to get potential clients to tell you everything you need to know without feeling like they have to put their defenses up because you might be a salesperson. So today's lesson is super cool. I have an interesting thing I figured out about 10 years ago when I started my marketing agency. And here's what I want to tell you guys. When you call and you sound like every other person that calls the business, hi, this is so-and-so with this company. I was calling today because blah, 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 blah. If you say the same stuff everyone else does, you're gonna give everybody the same vibe everybody else does. Oh, here we go. Here's another salesperson. Now, when you're positioning, like especially high ticket coaching offers, it's really important to understand that the specific need of the niche that you're going after is going to determine what things you need to know ahead of time. So when I first started my marketing agency, I did something I've never heard anybody else do. And if you guys are taking notes, this would be a great thing to write down, even pause and write it word for word. I was trying to sell to real estate agents and mortgage officers. I didn't know anything about the industry. I didn't know what kind of people are these, what are their problems, none of that stuff. So what I did was, instead of just cold calling and hoping whatever script I just came up with was gonna work, I did something very interesting. I called, and when I was talking to the secretary, and the good thing about real estate agents is their name is typically on their Google business listing. So I could just say, hey, is John in? And they might say, he's in. Who is this? And I say, oh, my name's Jeremy. And they say, Jeremy from where? I said, well, I'm a student and I'm writing a paper on, being a realtor, but I'm not a realtor. So I was hoping I could ask John basically 3 questions so I can understand how realtors kind of go through their day, what problems they have, stuff like that. Is that okay? It won't take very long. Now, what did I do? I did a couple of really sneaky things. One is I said I was a student. Now, to be fair, if you're a coach and you're reading books and you're taking courses and you're going to seminars, you're essentially a student. But what they hear in their mind is this is a college student. They assume you're saying you're a college student. So I'm a student, I'm doing a report. Now, that sounds like I'm writing a paper for college, but I was putting together a report. I was doing a market research report for myself so that I could make more money in sales. And then I would say, I just wanted to ask 3 questions so I can better understand. And I'm doing 2 things here at the same time. One is I'm letting the secretary know, hey, this is going to be a quick call. I'm prepared. I'm not going to waste anybody's time. And the second thing it's doing is it's giving this person that I eventually end up on the phone with, John, the ability to feel like he's a badass. If you can make people feel good, they're typically going to want to buy if you have something to offer. And when John would get on the phone, I would repeat my whole spiel. Hey, my name is Jeremy. I'm a student. I'm just writing a paper on, being a realtor. I'm interested in real estate. I've, had some family that have done it, but I really want to understand so I can do a great job putting this report together. If you don't mind, I literally only have 3 questions. Now notice you guys how I'm talking. I'm not pausing at all. I'm not giving John a chance to ask questions like, oh, what school are you going to? Or, oh, what's the report about? Or anything else. I'm barreling through very quickly. It won't take very long, so I go back to it, right? It won't take very long. I've basically only got 3 questions. Number 1, what inspired you to become a real estate agent? Like, how did you kind of get into this? What was the appeal? Like, how did you just do this? Like, what was your thinking? Like, what led to this? And they would start talking. They're not thinking about all the questions they might have had about what school you're going to or what the paper's on. You barrel through it, and then you ask them a very open-ended question. What inspired you to become a real estate agent? I'm trying to understand the psychology behind this. Like, what drew you to it? Can you kind of walk me through that? And a very, very smart thing to do, by the way, when you're doing this is to pause or mute your phone so you can hear John, but you can't interrupt, and take great notes. And then you get to question number 2. Well, it can't be all good all the time. Like, what are some of the things about real estate like that suck? They're just kind of a pain in the ass. Like, what is it that I wouldn't know until I did this, in a few years, like that I should know now? What's the hard stuff? Again, mute. Let them talk a lot, by the way. They might say, well, one thing most people don't realize is when you're first starting out, you don't have any leads. So you have to find ways to get leads, and you might have to do door hangers, and you might have to do calls, and you might have to partner with somebody else on a deal. So they're going to tell you all these things. Keep writing this stuff down. And then the third thing that I would ask is, like, when you started building your team, how did you build a team? And the reason I would ask this for real estate agents specifically was because I kind of knew beforehand. I knew that a lot of real estate agents, it's just them. It might be them and an assistant. They might be partners with somebody to do the mortgages. Like they combine the businesses together, but typically they're very small, 1 or 2 people, sometimes 3. Now, the reason I ask that is because I want to understand, number 1, what is their psychology around hiring, and what is it that like they thought was the smartest first move? And this gives me a hint as the person who wants to sell them something as to like how they see their journey progressing over time. And I might ask a follow-up. I might say, well, like what's like the team look like if you build a full staff and stuff? Like if you were like, I don't know, doing hundreds of millions of dollars or something, like what kind of team would you have? And that'll give you more context. Now, the trick to this, by the way, is to get in a 4th question, but make them feel like it's spur of the moment. So the 4th question I would ask, even though I said it's only 3, I'd say, hey, I just got to ask. I'm so sorry. I know I said 3 questions, but like, what does your day look like? Like how, I'm just curious because like, I'm really considering going into this. Like, do you get up early and you start cold calling, or what? Like, how does the day of a life of a real estate agent look like? And the reason I ask this last is because as I go through calling, when I did this for my marketing agency, I called 100 real estate agents all over the country randomly. I just picked random names. And what I found out was they all got up around the same time and they all went to bed around the same time. They all did open houses on Saturdays and Sundays. Like, every single real estate agent's day was almost identical. So for me, I was like, man, I know more about these people as a group than they do. I bet they have no clue that all of them are getting up at basically 6 a.m. Every single one of the people I talk to, 6 a.m. Saturdays and Sundays, open houses. And they all basically had the same problems, which allowed me to then go back and put together a plan. And so what I want you guys to understand is this is the method to do your market research for your coaching business. Now, here's the key point of where that turns into actual revenue for you as a business owner, as a coach. When you know what their day looks like, what their, inspiration was, what, their problems are, when you have an understanding of what their current situation is and also what their future is supposed to look like, you can start connecting the dots. That helps you to build out your offer. The big thing to understand is, especially if you're selling business to business, coach to business, you have to tie everything back to the biggest money-related problems. So you have to specifically look at, do they need more leads? Do they need, a bigger brand where they're getting more leads organically or more sales organically? Is their advertising bad? So on one side you have, is the thing that's supposed to make them money not making them as much as they could? On the other hand, are the costs that are supposed to be costing them money costing them more than it should? And that might be operational efficiencies, it might be better hiring practices, it might be better legal sometimes. I mean, sometimes you talk to a business owner and they have, a contract they're sending out and it's only 2 pages. It doesn't have, an arbitration clause. It doesn't have an intelligent refund policy in place. So you might, as a coach, you might have a wide range of things you do. A lot of coaches like to be across the whole business, essentially. And to be fair, if you can increase profit and decrease cost at the same time, you can get a 2x, 4x, 10x return for people on the money they spend with you as a coach. So you want to specifically tie all of what you got in your market research to something that is going to drive big results. And ideally, it's very clear what the process is that you do to get those results. If they're not getting leads, it might be helping them to place a paid ad expert in their business. If it might be putting together some better offers with them. It might be helping them to just get more exposure locally. Maybe they don't even want to sell, across the whole country. They just need to get some, geo-targeted Facebook and Instagram ads out there. There's a lot of different ways you could do that. It might be, for me, I work with a lot of companies on their sales. It might be that their scripts really suck and their salespeople only ask for the sale one time, if ever. So looking at how they live their day, what their current situation is, what their inspiration is, connecting the dots, it's a big enough problem that people will pay you. And here's the challenge that a lot of people run into is they put together an offer that has great deliverables in it. It's like, we're gonna be on a call every single day. I'm gonna come to your house and wake you up. I'm gonna splash cold water on you. We're gonna run to the gym together and talk about long-term business strategy and capital allocation. Like the deliverables list is like crazy, but the actual specificity of the outcome, the result, is so ambiguous, people don't buy it. They're like, there's 100 things here. It's awesome, but I have no clue how this is going to help me. So remember that you're solving a specific problem, and it should be simple enough that when you explain it, the other person says, I don't know how to do that, but I understand, conceptually speaking, how that would work out, and I'm glad I met this person because they seem to know a lot about this thing, whether it's marketing or sales or operations or hiring or even the legal side, or the tax side. There's a lot of different ways you could do this, but if it's simple enough and it's specific enough and it's tied to the result that you uncovered from your market research that most people are looking for in that space, you now have an offer that is highly attractive to your potential market. The second thing is you have to be positioned as a coach. People have to be able to Google you. If you guys Google Jeremy Sandell, all of page 1 is me. That's all me. It's me on podcasts. It's me on my YouTube. It's me on my Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, every single platform. The whole first page. It's awesome. People will Google you. They'll go to your YouTube. They'll go to your Instagram. They'll go to your Facebook. Wherever they like to go, they will go there. And if you're not showing up as the expert that they see in front of them when you're actually selling them, if there's any lack of congruity between the two of those, it's going to be harder to close the deal. So you want to set yourself up as an authority by being present in all of the kind of like public town squares, if you will. YouTube is a public town square. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, all of them are like basically little town squares where people gather. And it should be a mix of things. This is where a lot of coaches go wrong. They post talking head content all the time. If you guys notice, a lot of the biggest brands that are coaching businesses, they show a little bit about their travel and a little about their family and about their, training if they work out, and about their spirituality. Maybe they do yoga or they meditate every day, or maybe they're doing cold plunges, or maybe they're, just sharing how they like to spend their free time, reading a good book or quotes from people. So there's a wide range of things. And as a coach, if you're going to be looking at people's businesses holistically speaking, remember they're going to be looking at you as a person holistically. So you want to show up the same way across all of your platforms. You want to do this in a way that people can see not only are you, actually impacting lives because you're posting testimonials, but you also have the kind of life that they want. If you're the example to them of what they want out of life, it's a lot easier to get them to buy because they're going to say, well, of course I would buy this product. It solves my problem. And the person that's selling it to me is living the kind of life I've always envisioned for myself, but I haven't been able to achieve yet. And look, you guys, you got to remember, social media only shows what you post. So like if you guys look at my page, a lot of my stuff is gym content, or it's talking head content, or I am remixing something, either because I found an offshoot idea or because the original was just so good I wanted to. But I try to kind of keep everything within my own wheelhouse. I spend time with my family. I don't post that on social media because I don't want my kids on social media. There's a lot of bad people out there, you know? I travel a lot, so when I'm traveling, I'm posting about traveling. I've spoken on stage a lot, so you guys can see there's videos of me speaking on stage in all these different countries. So you want to have this set up that it doesn't feel boring when people watch it. It should not be like this video here. I'm standing in front of this wall. If every single short form piece of content I put out was me standing here in front of the wall, it wouldn't be interesting. It's too flat. There's no texture or flavor to it. It's like if you're making a great dish, you don't put one ingredient in, you mix up a whole bunch of stuff, some different spices, some garlic, some cinnamon, maybe you do this, you put a banana in there, you just get weird with it, right? So your social media should have some texture like that as well. Now, the third piece of this puzzle, and by the way, if you guys haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon. I post videos like this every single day. And here's the thing, I just want to be completely transparent with you guys. I've been in sales for 15 years. I've been in sales and marketing for 10 of those, specifically in the coaching space, working with brands that are known worldwide, traveling all over the world, speaking on stages. I want you guys to subscribe. Yes, it helps me out, but the reality is you guys take this and put it into action. The amount of money you'll make from using this in your coaching business will make you way more than YouTube will ever pay me from people watching my videos. So this is 100% for you guys. If you're interested, I have coaching you can go into where I help you guys to really get just badass at sales. Here's a good thing, by the way. If anybody you talk to ever says to you, I never felt like I was being sold when I was talking to you, but they bought, study that conversation like crazy. And this is why I put together the stealth closer training for you guys, was because that's what people tell me almost every time they buy from me. They never felt like they're being sold. I figured out a way to do this as somebody that doesn't like sales, that doesn't like salesy people, that people were literally thanking me for buying. It was crazy. So there's a link in the description below. You guys can check that out. stealthcloser.com/start. But let's just wrap this up. This final piece, this is really key to positioning yourself and positioning your coaching offer in the high ticket space. You need to understand the pricing model that works for your specific niche. I'm going to give you guys a general framework, but you need to kind of talk to people to get an idea of what they can actually spend. As an example, if you're working with new entrepreneurs who are making $0 to $100,000 in personal income, you're not going to be able to charge $100,000 yet. Now, in 5 to 10 years, you'll have that option because a lot of those people will have moved up and they've become very successful, hopefully as a result of your coaching. So the way to think about this is you need stuff that is free, that gets people to want to talk to you and your team. It also allows them to experience more of what you have to offer in a way that doesn't make them feel any pressure or feel defensive. So you need some free stuff you can give away. YouTube is a great way to do that. Having a free school community is a great way to do that. Also just having digital downloads, ebooks, maybe full books, free courses, anything you can do. And by the way, don't overthink this. You can make a course with 3 videos in it and give it away for free. And then the third video, you say, hey, if you're interested in really diving deeper into this and understanding exactly how to go from A to Z and blah, 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 there's this thing that you can buy and it's $299. And so you want to have free stuff. You want to have very low ticket, $47, $97, or $147. That's the 3 very low ticket price points. You could have books, you could have mini courses, you can have like a 15-minute coaching call, whatever it is that makes sense. Now, if you do a 15-minute coaching call, the ideal situation is they are being positioned on that call to buy a more expensive product, whether that's a course that you're selling for a couple $100 or some kind of really in-depth coaching that you could go up to $100,000 on, or even more maybe, depending on the market you're going after. So that's your super low ticket. Your other low ticket should be $300, $500, $1,000. And a good way of thinking about this is your events, when you do in-person stuff, should be $1,000 a ticket. You should have an upgrade. People can spend $3,000 or $5,000. Your courses that are more advanced should sell for between $500 and $750. And your kind of beginner courses, your beginner products, should be stuff that's between, $197 and $497. Now, your high ticket, and if you guys aren't taking notes, trust me when I tell you this, I've seen this tested on literally, I'm not exaggerating, hundreds of millions of dollars of ad spend in the companies that I've worked in. So this is not like hyperbole. I'm not just saying, oh, these sound good, I'm going to throw them out. I've seen these prices work across hundreds of millions of dollars in paid advertising. So that's why I'm sharing this with you guys. I hope you're taking notes. So your kind of mid-ticket, okay, is anything up to $10,000. So $1,000 to $10,000. And you could do something like, there's a guy named Jeremy Haynes I've learned a lot from in the marketing space. He does an 8-week master internet marketing thing. I think they charge $7,500. It might be $10,000 now. So anything in that space is typically going to be like a 2 or 3 month like challenge or like condensed down, massively leveling up kind of course like Jeremy Haynes has. Or it's going to be some kind of like VIP only in-person event. So that's something where you're like, hey, look, we're only getting together. People are doing over $1 million in revenue. Tickets for this are more expensive because we want to make sure the room only has these people in it. So they're $5,000. For 2 days, we're going to hang out, whatever, in Mexico. And we're going to talk about business and we're talk about, what you need to do to scale to 100 million. Now, your 10,000 plus is going to be 10,000, 25,000, 50,000, 100,000. You could go up to 250, 500, and $1 million. That is your high ticket stuff. The way you need to think about this is if they spend 10,000, your goal and expectation should be that they make back 100,000 or more as a result of spending that 10. Same with the 25, 50, and 100. They should make a 10x return on that money. And again, I know I'm saying this a lot, but it has to be specific. There has to be a specific problem that you're solving within a specific time frame. And there should be some kind of guarantee most of the time with these. I know a lot of people say don't do guarantees, it causes a lot of problems. Hey, look, if you can't fulfill, don't do a guarantee. But if you can't fulfill, you shouldn't be selling anyways, right? So if you can fulfill, charge the money, give a guarantee. Typically a pro rata guarantee is the best case to do this. So if you tell a company we'll make you an extra $100,000 and they only make, $87,000, you give them a refund of about 13%, the equivalent of the difference. So those kinds of guarantees are great. People love that. They feel safe, it's easy to say yes to, and you're tied to the outcome that you're promising them anyways. Which, by the way, if I go buy a burger for $4 and they give me a hot dog, don't you guys think I should get a refund, right? If they give me half a burger, shouldn't I get a refund? So it's not any different than product sales. It's the same thing. It's just people are so good at telling people what they can do, and they're not so good at actually doing what they tell people can do, that they're basically scared of guarantees. They're like, I don't want all these refunds, blah, 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 blah. But make sure, especially for those of you guys that are brand new, make sure that you're going through and doing your market research. Like, I can't tell you guys how much good information you'll get from making 100 of those calls. And they're fast. There's not all this like gatekeeping and stuff on the phone. The secretaries oftentimes will literally shoot you right over to the person. And the great thing about it is you'll notice after your first 10 calls, your first 10 conversations, you'll notice, oh my God, like 5 of these people use this exact same phrase. which is a key in sales specifically. That's a key that you should remember, so that when you're speaking to people, you're using their language with them. And once you've done that market research, you got to position yourself. I'm the person that takes Y people from not making money to X people that are making money. That's a crude example. It's a simple example, but fill in the blank. If people can say that guy is the what of what, you've positioned yourself correctly, assuming they're saying what you want them to say. And then secondly, it sets you up that your high ticket offers make sense to people, because they're like, well, of course, he's the expert on that thing. He's the guy that knows the best. She's the girl that knows the best. So if you guys haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell. I'll see you on the next video.